The Legend of Dark Witch is an action platformer series that has 3 main games in its repertoire so far, in addition to a couple of spin-offs. Dark Witch music episode, Rudymical, is a spin-off of the Legend of Dark Witch series. And man, talk about a mouthful. Dark Witch music episode, Rudymical, which released last May for the Nintendo Switch, is a rhythm game that takes many aspects from the Dark Witch series, including the music, the world, and more. However, I have never played a Legend of Dark Witch game, so I'll be reviewing Rudymical purely as a game standing on its own. Dark Witch music episode, Rudymical, was developed by Inside System and Aquarta. The plot is explained in the game's introduction, and it's somewhat interesting at first. It starts off talking about Stiega, a miraculous stone that allows humans to use magic. People constantly research Stiega, developing new uses all the time. Magic aids innovation. People use it as a tool in their everyday lives. But these new powers also bring evil. Magic becomes a weapon. People fight. Wars begin. The Germa Empire in the East continent is known for their magical studies. By collecting the best researchers from around the world, Germa created the strongest research faculty in history. Above all, the East research team is notorious. It is said that whoever stands against Germa will be overthrown by the magic each creates. Each is now known as a force to be reckoned with, a threat to other countries. Secretly, Germa sends each to the neighboring country Liana, intending to declare war on Liana from the inside. A god looking at mankind from above, a young aristocrat looking for her parents, and a researcher looking for a good time, each begin their own story amidst the turmoil. Immediately following, you can select from any of those 3 characters: Zizao, the god, Sola, the aristocrat, and Rudy, the researcher. You can switch characters at any time between levels. After selecting your character, you are brought to what is essentially a level select screen. From here, you can choose to fight any of the initial 8 each researchers in any order. After that, there is no plot whatsoever. I usually don't mind when the plot stays in the background in games, and I appreciate that Rudymical has an intro to at least set up the context of the gameplay. However, it is a bit strange how plot is completely absent from the rest of the game. There aren't even minor events or bits of text connecting things. Even at the end of the game, there is no attempt to resolve the plot, which I definitely found bizarre. Like seriously, there's no resolution whatsoever. You beat the final boss, and then you get a few lines of text between the playable characters talking about how much fun they've had on their adventure. That's it. Nothing about Germa, nothing about each research group, none of that. It's really strange. I guess you're just supposed to infer what happens. On top of that, a much bigger issue regarding the plot is that the backgrounds of the 3 playable characters don't make much sense. The intro refers to them as a god, an aristocrat, and a researcher, but there is never any insight into their characters, so their motives are never touched upon. How does an aristocrat looking for her parents have anything to do with this? And, for whatever ridiculous reason, Rudy, the 3rd playable character, is also one of the bosses. What? Like, what the heck? How does this make any sense at all? Why is she fighting to take down her entire organization, including herself? While the plot does have some abnormalities, the story is absolutely not the focus of Rudymical. It simply exists to provide context for the game, and while it has some issues, I really appreciate that it's there in the first place. Let's talk about the actual gameplay. Each level is a fight against a specific member of the each research group. Each member stands on the right side of the screen, while your character stands on the left. Depending on the difficulty, the enemy will launch up to 4 projectiles at you throughout the duration of the level. Red spheres, blue spheres, green spheres, and fireballs. Each projectile corresponds to a different direction on the D-pad: right, up, left, and down respectively. I found out later that you can use the face buttons too, which I definitely prefer. As the projectiles fly at you, you have to press the corresponding buttons at the right times to destroy the spheres or to jump over the fireballs. Like with many other rhythm games, depending on how well your timing is, you get a certain rating for each hit: perfect, great, good, or miss. The different ratings you get determine your overall letter grade for the level. Misses also lower your HP. If your HP bar reaches 0, you fail the stage and have to try again. If the boss's HP reaches 0, however, you win the stage and are rewarded with a certain letter grade: C, B, A, or S. I really like the gameplay system presented in Rudymical. At its core, it's inputting the 4 directions to the music, a mechanic used in many rhythm games. However, Rudymical implements this concept in a very unique way. I had a lot of fun defending myself to the music. And of course, projectiles have many different speeds and patterns, and each level throws them at you in different ways, so the player is constantly being challenged. I do think they could have done a bit more with this system if they thought more outside of the box. While each level presents different patterns, the overall concept rarely changes or evolves, the only exception being Liddy's stage. Liddy is a psychic, so in addition to her real projectiles, slightly fuzzy, fake versions appear in other places to confuse the player. More mix-ups like this would have been nice. Overall though, the gameplay mechanics are well executed and pretty fun. The game can be pretty difficult too, at higher levels. While the game is still pretty fun, Rudymical misses the mark regarding a pivotal element of rhythm games. To explain this, first I will talk about other rhythm games I've played. In rhythm games, it's very important to interact with the music. In Guitar Hero, for example, if you execute the notes correctly, you hear the music. If not, the music does not sound good. In Rhythm Heaven, the sounds you make in each minigame are designed specifically to go along with the music. They are a part of it. Your sounds enhance the music, make it sound better. In Parappa the Rapper, your inputs cause you to rap. The rapping goes along with the music, making it whole. The sounds that the rappers make are specifically composed to sound the way that they do along with each song. In each of these games, the player's inputs enhance the music that you are hearing. These are all games that I love. As I play along with each game's songs, I can't help but smile uncontrollably, becoming one with the music. Rudymical, on the other hand, butchers this endeavor. In each level, a different song is playing while each research group member is launching projectiles at you. You hit the projectiles to the beat of the music, yes, but the sounds you make as you do so do not go along with the music in the slightest. Each playable character has a couple of different sound effects, consisting of various yells and screams. As you play the game, you will constantly hear the screams of these characters every time you do anything. At the same time, you will also hear the sound of a projectile being destroyed. These sounds are the same no matter what song is playing, no matter what note is being played. As I said before, in rhythm games, your inputs are supposed to enhance the music. This has a very important impact on the generally amazing feelings felt when playing these games. The inputs in Rudymical, on the other hand, have the opposite effect. They actually detract and distract from the music. So much so that as I write this, I can only recall 2 songs from memory. In rhythm games, you're supposed to really vibe with the music, but that just isn't possible. This problem is made a bit worse due to how loud the sound effects are in comparison to the music, and there's no way to lower the effects volume. I definitely would have liked the music to be a bit louder than it was. I'm usually the person who will turn down the sound effects in games in order to hear the music better, so maybe this is just a me issue, but there's no reason not to give the option. One more thing is that since the sound effects are the same for every stage, entirely different songs can seem a little samey. This is especially sad to say because the music is pretty good, though due to the previously mentioned issues, it was not able to leave as much of an impact on me as it otherwise could have. I don't mean to sound like you can't hear or enjoy the music at all. You absolutely can. I had a lot of fun doing so. It's just that the various sound effects detract from the experience somewhat. You'll be hearing music throughout this video though, so you can also judge the quality for yourself. I think that the music is taken from the main series Dark Witch games, but like I said earlier, I haven't played those games, so I'm not sure. It definitely does sound like video game music though. I can totally imagine hearing these songs while running through an action platform. I should probably talk about the art style as well. I really like the design of the menus. They look pretty cool. Then, once you get to the level select screen, you'll see a piece of artwork for each enemy. The art style here is very well done. Finally, once you actually start playing, the game uses a pixel art style. The characters and their animations look really good here. The backgrounds, on the other hand, are more of a mixed bag. They look nice enough, but they can be kind of bland at times, such as with the lab in Eek's level. I also wish there was more going on in the background, such as with the ocean in Erkin's level. Maybe some moving water, some ships passing through, and some animals moving about could have enhanced the feel of the environment. Rudymical has 13 stages. 8 are available right from the beginning, and 5 are unlockable. Sure, I would have liked it if there were more stages, but there's certainly a fair amount of content here. It took me about 2 hours before I reached the credits, but that number can easily be a lot higher or a lot lower depending on how often you replay stages or change difficulties before you beat the game. However, I still had much more playtime remaining after I beat the game. There's a lot of replayability here. As a rhythm game, stages are fun to replay and are fairly addicting. There are 4 difficulties for each stage, and the level design is different for every difficulty. Gradually improving from normal to hard to lunatic is challenging, rewarding, and fun. You can go back and play all the stages on easy too, if you want. In addition, if you get rank A or S on a stage, you unlock a Ciega. You can get one of these for every difficulty, so 4 per stage. As you unlock more Siega, you will unlock costumes for the 3 playable characters. This is another element that encourages you to keep playing. Rudymical even has a multiplayer component in which each of you takes up one half of the screen. There are 2 multiplayer modes, co-op and versus. In co-op, you and a friend work together to do well, and your scores are essentially averaged out into one score. This is all well and good, but versus, in my opinion, is a lot more fun. It's really tense to hear you and your friend's characters scream simultaneously, both of you perfecting each note, waiting for the other to mess up. The sound effects can also get really hectic if one of the players is performing poorly. Additionally, you can attack your friend with projectiles 3 times per stage. These act as extra fireballs that you can use at any time to throw your opponent off guard. Multiplayer is more of the same for the most part, but it's a lot of fun, adding replayability and allowing you to play with a friend. You can play through the whole game with a friend if you want to. I think this is a great addition to the game. I also want to briefly mention something that I think should be included in other rhythm games but I've never seen before. In the options menu, there is a place for you to tell the game if your TV has any input lag, and exactly how much. Then, the game will adjust itself, making the projectiles appear slightly earlier to help correct the situation. Playing in handheld eliminates any worry of input lag, but this is still a great feature that I think should become standard in the genre. I don't mean to come across as being too negative in this review. Sometimes it's easier to talk more about the negatives than the positives. Sure, the implementation of Rudymical's sound effects prevented me from reaching the level of bliss that I often experience from rhythm games. And yeah, the plot is somewhat nonsensical too, though it isn't a big part of the game at all. However, despite these issues, I would overwhelmingly recommend this game. Even though it doesn't reach its potential, Dark Witch Music Chapter, Rudymical, is a very fun game that I had a great time playing through. And at a price of $8, it's definitely a worthy addition to your Switch library. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a fun video to make. I hope it was a fun video to watch too. If you play this game, or if you have played it in the past, be sure to let me know what you think about it. I haven't heard too much on the internet. There's not that many reviews out there, so I'm curious to know your opinion. If you're looking for another review, I reviewed Princess Remedy in a World of Hurt on my channel a little over 2 weeks ago, so feel free to check that out. If there are any other Switch games, or other games in general you want to see me review, let me know in the comments, and hopefully I'll be able to get to it. Thank you again so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to stay tuned for more reviews and other videos on video games. I'm Youngster Skaymore, and I will see you guys next time.